Now, Davie is the founder of Box Advisory Services, which is a Sydney-based accounting and advisory firm. And Davie started that, and he's taken a really novel approach to building his business. And part of that, of course, is what we're going to be talking to him today about, which is using video content. So, Davie, welcome to Freelance Legends.
Thank you very much, Oliver. That was a very warm welcome, and it actually has been like probably about 5 years since we met. Hey, since
right. I remember that was still at the point where we had an office in Sydney. I know that I think that you met with Grant, and we were like, yeah, we can really do something with Davie. We really liked your approach. So maybe just for everybody who's attending, maybe just give a bit of an introduction to yourself and Box and the kind of work that you do.
Yeah, sounds good. So I'll tell you from when I started. I started in accounting when I was 17. What happened was 2 years before that, Mum and Dad got me in a room and said to me, hey, son, we're not doing so well. We have so much money in debt because we're trying to pay for your tuition. And at that point of time, I could see in my parents' eyes that they would they were really hurt. So as a result of that, I was like, man, I really need to do something in my life. So I started working really hard in HSC, started studying really hard and tried to work on ways to, start making a bit of money, because I've never worked worked at all in my whole life at that time. So I decided I would do accounting because one, it would make my parents proud of me. It's something that they wanted me to do, like university, and, it's something that, I'm good at. I'm pretty good with maths. So I decided to jump into accounting when I was 17, got a job in the city, thought I was making a lot of money, but didn't realize closer to the years that I wasn't actually making that much money at all. But I just kept working really hard. So I think around 17 to 24, 23-ish, I was studying and got through uni, got through my CA, and decided, wow, accounting is kind of not what I wanted to do. I didn't really want to go into accounting at all because it's really boring. It just didn't seem like I was changing lives. It didn't seem like I was making an impact to businesses because I was just lodging tax returns. But I think when I started getting promoted and I started my own businesses like on the side, and I got promoted to manager level, I started talking to clients a bit more, and I realized the impact accountants do. So as a result, about a couple of years later, my business, the people I was working for, decided to. So that's basically what I do. I started a business, and that's kind of like the background of my like how I got into accounting, how I started my own business. And to be honest, it was supposed to be just like a side hustle on the side. I was actually working full time in a commercial accounting role, but then it just started growing so big that I decided I'm going to do this full time. And now looking back, 8 years ago, I actually didn't really like accounting as much at that time. Now I love it. I live and breathe it. If someone calls me during the weekend, I would love to talk about their numbers. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a great story, and congratulations on the business that you've built. So just to give everybody a flavor, what I'd like to do, Davie, is to maybe just share, and we won't show all of it because it goes for about 3.5 minutes. And I know that Zoom isn't always the best way to share content, but I'd just like to give everybody listening an example of some of the content that you provide. So guys, if you bear with me here whilst I just click around a little bit, hopefully you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now, Davie?
I can see your screen.
All right. So this is, maybe you can intro this video. This is one of your most popular videos. It's had nearly 5,000 views. And this is a typical example of your content where you explain, the differences between being structured as a sole trader versus being structured as a company. Mm-hmm. So here we go. We'll play a little bit.
Should you be running a business through a sole trader, or should you be running a business through a company? So, sole trader is you're really basically running the business out of your personal name. You'll go set up an ABN, and that Australian business number is to identify your business, but it will be also connected to your personal name and your personal tax file number. So when you do lodge your tax returns, for your business, it would be under your personal tax return as well. It would also cost you probably anywhere between $200 to $500 to do a sole trader tax return. Could cost you even cheaper. Just depends on how much work there is to do. So when you start making a lot more money, or you want to reduce the risk, that's when you start thinking about getting a company. So the thing with sole traders is that because you're putting it under your own personal name, you get taxed at the individual tax rates. The individual tax rates are very progressive. So the more you make, the more tax you pay. So if you make up to the highest tax bracket, you'll be.
So we might just pause that there. Hopefully everybody gets an idea. That's sort of very consistent of the type of content you create.
Yeah.
So I'd really like to dive into that now, because obviously, as we know as well, like, we start from the same point of view that accounting and accounting software is, number one, probably not like a naturally sexy topic that everybody gets excited about. Only a few weirdos like you and me get excited about things like that, right? Yes. So that's sort of the starting point, which is, okay, then you've got to think about your audience, right? So talk to us about your audience, your client base, and then why you decided that video was the best way to interact and engage with that audience.
To be honest, like video wasn't the first one we chose. We actually chose a mixture of different content. We've done articles, we've written articles, and we still write articles to this day. We also, post on social media. We also tried ads. We tried a whole bunch of things, and video was one of the options that we also tried. When I first started the business, I didn't focus much on marketing at all. But after a year or two, when I could make a bit of money on the side to spend on marketing, because I knew it was really important, I started doing marketing. I started doing videos. And the reason why we jumped into videos was because, one, I wasn't really good at writing at all. I hated writing. I could do articles about, accounting. However, it just took me so much more longer to write an article and sit down and focus and, do the spell checks and do the grammar checks, because my grammar's not like the best. My partner always tells me all the time. So as a result, I jumped into video because I thought video, all you need to do is just put a camera there and just film yourself. You don't even need a camera. You could just use your phone. And so we just did that for the time being. And the good thing about this was that I also had colleagues that I used to work with and friends that, are very good with video. So I jumped into that. Another reason why I jumped into video was because I like to copy a lot of industries. Like, I know the accounting industry is very old school. And as a result, if I go and make a change to the accounting industry or do something and copy that over to another industry, for example, gyms, fitness industry, or the marketing industry, I've realized that these guys are so much more skilled or so much more better, and they're market leaders in certain aspects of their business. One is marketing. And I've noticed that, there's a whole bunch of influencers they're doing video, and, they're creating viral content, but also getting a lot of eyeballs in their business. And so I just went, why can't we do that in accounting? One, it would save me so much more time because I don't have to speak to every client individually or every prospect. I could just shoot them a video and explain things to them, and then have a chat to them where they already know the basic concepts of, whatever topic they want to talk about. And two, I don't have to sit there and write an email. I can just shoot them a video. And three, it also helps me practice because, when I'm shooting on a video, it allows me to understand specifically what detailed information that needs to be explained in that topic. So I hit a lot of birds in one stone, pretty much doing it. Yep. So it's great.
Awesome. And that's sort of a nice segue then. So you obviously you make a decision. It sounds like a fairly organic decision around video because it's something that suits you.
Yeah.
How do you then decide what topics to address?
Yeah. So that's easy. I literally get phone calls nonstop. Like, my phone probably is I already got a message and a phone call from another client just then. So they ask questions nonstop, and that's kind of what I want clients to do. Like, I know clients are struggling when it comes to their accounting or their business or their tax, so they ask a lot of questions. So I just round up all these questions, especially when it's a question that's been asked so many times, like that video that you showed, sole traders versus company. And to be honest, that's one of my first videos that I did. So I look at that now, I look like a baby, as well as, I've gone better, so much more better in doing videos. But yeah, like I just get the questions that are asked by my clients, and then I put them into a project management tool, and then we go through it, and my team goes through it, and they work on checking if those topics have been searched in Google quite a fair bit. And they use some tool. I don't know what tool they use. They use a bunch of tools actually to see those keywords are being searched, and we focus on those. But that's only one type of style of videos we do. I try to tend to use 3 type of styles of videos. The first one is education. So education, and to provide education to our clients. And that's mostly what we focus on. But we do try to we've been trying to jump into entertainment videos just to entertain clients. And they have 5 minutes on the side. They want to know a bit about me, or they want to know a bit about just for a laugh. Like I do joke around ones. I tried to squeeze in a bloopers video with Oliver, but he canned that. and then I had and then the third type of style of video we do is inspiration. We think it's really important to inspire our clients and keep them going. They're not just looking for an accountant to give them educate them and provide them tax advice. They're also looking for an accountant to have a beer with, which is entertainment, but they're also looking for an accountant to inspire them as well. Because they look up to their accountants, and that's what I realized. So I want to kind of like make sure that I mentor them and get them on the right track as well when they run their business. So yeah, they're the types of topics, types of styles and types of topics that we go for.
Yeah, awesome. And I think you make a really good point there, and something that we use when we think about the topics that we discuss is that essentially, if you listen to, and I think this doesn't matter whether you're a freelance copywriter or a graphic designer or whatever. If you're thinking about content, your customers kind of tell you what they want to hear, right? So that kind of makes the decision about what sort of content to focus on, quite easy. So what I'd also like to know is now if you can tell us a little bit about what your team looks like now versus what your team because you said obviously your video making has progressed, but at the start, like, who did you have helping you, or did you just jump in and do it yourself? And like, what does the team look like now that it's become, a regular part of what you do for marketing?
Yeah, so it sounds good. All right. So back then, 5 years ago, I didn't really jump into like I said, I didn't jump into marketing that much. I did write a bit of articles. I think the time that me and Grant and yourself spoke, I was just doing everything by myself. And I think that's what you need to do, just to kind of like test out what you want as well. I think it's always good to dabble into everything that you're planning to do, and then you start getting the team or assembling the team to work with. So over the time, I think I hired an intern when it came to videography. That's the first hire I did. I hired an intern, and I got him to help me out with the videos. And to be honest, we completely sucked, but I still forced him to post it, even though they tried to convince me not to post the video. And I was like, look, no, is his name. Look, there's no accountant doing a video. So any video out there is going to be good anyway. So it doesn't matter. Let's just post it, even though it sucks. It will get better over time. And if I post it out there, I know I'm the type of person that when I see something that I did that sucks or isn't that great, I'm going to improve it. And I'm going to get people to criticize it, and they're going to criticize it. I know they will. And I'm going to take it up and do better. So that happened I think that happened literally early 2019 in March 2019. So I haven't been doing videos that long. I've been dabbling, like I said, dabbling in different types of content. And videos was 2019 in March. We posted it, and we had a lot of good positive feedback. We also had some, negative feedback, which was not in a way where they're trying to criticize us. They were just trying to make us improve our content and the way I present. Because literally I didn't realize I actually had some facial expressions that automatically happen when I get tired that I didn't even know. So we had to scrap a few videos because I had some weird thing that was going on, like with my face. So yeah, we did that for quite a fair bit of time. And then I think a couple months in, I realized that this intern was amazing at what he did. So I hired him full time. And then I also hired, and I realized that marketing is so broad. You can't hire one person to do everything. So the next step was then I hired a marketing strategist to help me out with the whole content ideas, improving my content, improving the way we should distribute the videos and the content, and kind of just, whatever content I was doing previously, not just videos, putting it all together and connecting the dots together, because you can't just focus on video. And that's one thing I need to make sure that you guys are aware of. You can't just do one video or multiple videos and you think you're good. You have to connect everything together. And that's how marketing is. So you can't just hire one person that does video and and expect the results. And so as a result, once I hired that person, it completely changed the way business was working for me. So I think after that, we hired the videographer started doing so well. We hired another person as well to help me out. So we had a team. Right now we have a team of 3 that's doing videos and providing content and distributing the content, as well as thinking about the strategy. They don't just do videos. They do email marketing. They do social media posts. They write articles. We kind of have this like set way of doing things now through a software called Asana it's a project management tool. And we pretty much put all the ideas in, and these guys will help me do it. So back then I would take like at least 1 to 2 days a week. Now I spend, half a day, a fortnight on the videos, and they take care of the rest.
Amazing. So, I mean, I'd love to know how many other small accounting firms, and I use small not in any kind of a dismissive sense, but how many accounting firms of a similar size to you have 3 full-time people to focus just on marketing? I think that's amazing.
Yeah, there is. I don't think there is any that do what I'm doing right now.
And obviously that comes. I mean, that obviously you run a company. It may not be possible for a freelancer to hire 3 full-time people, but we'll come back to that in a second.
Yeah, come back definitely to that, because that's something really important that I want to mention. Yeah, cool. Go for it.
I'd like to just before I forget, I'd like to go back and just ask you to perhaps talk a little bit more about feedback. And I felt with doing these sorts of webinars as well, I understand for me it's not necessarily facial expressions, but go-to phrases that you say all the time, and then you hear yourself and all of that kind of thing. You think, oh my God, I sound awful, and all of that sort of stuff. So how did you get yourself over the fear of that kind of thing? And also I'd like you to talk about how you manage the feedback, because that must have been quite confronting when it first started coming in.
I take feedback pretty well. Like, I'm a very competitive person, so I always want to improve myself. I released a video about member mentality, which is always trying to be the greatest of what you are. Kobe Bryant was a big believer in that. So, and he was one of my idols. So for me, I can take feedback quite well. It just depends on who you are and what you're like. If you think that you can't take feedback that well, videos is going to be something that's quite hard, but you can train yourself to get better. But for me, I felt like I needed to get it's a speed game. Like, if you get out there first and you do something, that's changing the environment. For us, no one's doing videos as accountants, so we decided to jump on. There were accountants doing videos in another country, but they weren't competitors. And so I think making sure that we do that. Sorry, can I get back to your question again, just so I don't lose the topic again?
Yeah.
What was your topic?
I was just asking about how you've coped with feedback, but also how you managed to get yourself over perhaps any mental barrier about continuing to put yourself out there.
Yeah, gotcha. Yes, I was answering the right question. So the main result is that I just literally just threw myself out there. And I think the videographers and the marketing guys were also a bit freaked out about how I work. I'm very, when I have an idea, I just jump into it. And I think in business, you have to do that. You can't sit on things for too long. And I've realized that over my years of 13 years of doing accounting, that I've had clients every year, they say to me, oh, I want to do this sort of business, and they don't do it. After, like, they look at all their profit, and I present the profit and loss and the balance sheet and the taxes to them. And they say, and I ask them, what's your plan for the next 12 months? And then the next 12 months later, I talk to them and they don't implement it. That's where I realized that those businesses are always stagnant. So I learned from that, and I decided that when I'm going to jump into something, I'm just going to go into it. It doesn't matter if I fail, as long as you fail fast and improve and learn from it, then your business would skyrocket as fast as possible. I kind of see myself as a person that, like, I just set up the bricks so I have the opportunity for when it does come, everything is going to fall right in place, and I'm not going to stress as much. So that's pretty much what I did. Like, that's how I just posted it. One thing I did do is I only watched the video once or twice when the draft version was sent to me. And then I'll provide my feedback and tell them to improve it. And then after that, I'll just tell them to ship it and don't send it to me yet after that. And when you're sending, you previewed that video, seriously, I don't like watching myself at all. So I don't even bother watching myself, because it, like you say, Oliver, it actually makes you feel a bit uneasy because you're criticizing everything. And what I've realized, the person that criticizes the most is yourself when you watch your own video. Other people don't even notice that stuff. They're really digesting your content that you're providing, your education, your entertainment that you're providing to them. They don't look at, how your face looks. They don't look at the words that you say. And if they do, they're just joking around about it. In the end, they look at your content for a reason. And it's depending on what type of style of content you're providing. They don't really notice all the negative stuff that you notice. Also, I got a secret weapon. Apart from me, my girlfriend, my partner, is one of the most, she criticizes everything I do as much. So I usually palm the video over to her first, and she'll be like, Davie, you're standing in an awkward position, or you look fat here, you got to fix this. So I send it to her, and she criticizes really it a lot. And the good thing about it is that she's an accountant as well. So she kind of knows the topic quite well. So that's kind of like my secret weapon on the side that not many people have.
Awesome. And just for everybody who's in the audience and everybody who's watching on Facebook, guys, if you have questions for Davie, please put them in the chat or the Q&A module. We're happy to take questions. I'll relay them to Davie. Put them in the Facebook feed as well. And anything that you want to ask, please feel free to throw that out there. So I guess just to round out feedback, and I'm interested in sort of moving the conversation on to what the benefits have been. But tell us about some of the positive feedback that you've had as well. I mean, like, you get, obviously, as you say, there's those learning opportunities and things you didn't know, but I'm guessing that, the fact you're still doing it, that there are some people out there who love the content that you put out.
Yeah. No, I just post because I love myself. No, I'm just joking. I do it because there's so much positive feedback. One is I'm helping entrepreneurs and business owners that I originally could not help at all, because there's only so many phone calls you could take in one day, right? I also have to make money and do tax returns and provide advice to clients and do meetings. But doing videos, I'm able to, as you can see in that video, I think there was like about 2,000 or 3, maybe even 4,000 views.
4,500.
4,500 views. Yeah, 4,500 views. And that was free. Like I didn't spend any money on ads or anything like that. I just produced a video and shipped it out, and we've got 4,000 views. We've helped so many people, and a lot of business owners have been thanking me personally. They've sent me emails to say, hey, Davie, like I have no clue of what my accountant says, but I can connect with you. I can understand what you're saying. And it helps me try to improve my explanations to clients as well, which is great. But that's one really big feedback I've been getting. And I've actually had a client that booked in a meeting after, paid me training, one-on-one training, because for her, to understand her current accountant. So she has an accountant already with her family and her businesses, and she feels really uncomfortable talking to her accountant. So she put me on a one-on-one session for her to understand the topics that her accountant talks about. So she has a meeting with her current accountant, and then she'll book in a meeting with me so I can coach her on, like, what's happening and what the explanation of her accountant is saying, which is unreal, right? Like, I didn't expect to ever do something like that at all in my business. Yeah. So that's a really good feedback. Yeah. So I do get negative feedback, but there's a lot of good feedback on there, as well as, like, when I first started posting videos, a lot of people were saying good on you. I try not to get too stuck into it though. And I'm sure, Oliver, because you post videos, you would understand that sometimes, us content producers and those influencers, I'm not really an influencer, we get so stuck with the emotional side of how videos and how people perceive us. I get sometimes worried on how much likes I get or how much eyeballs I get on the videos. Sometimes it's best just to turn that off, and it doesn't really matter. Like, just know what your goal is, and you're posting those videos out there to educate the community, but also to make it easier for my clients to understand specific topics, and also to save me time so I don't have to call them and speak to them all the time. Don't worry too much about the stats, like, because if you do, you're just going to get depressed if things don't go according to plan, or you're going to feel like you're going to check your phone non-stop, and you're not going to get any work out. So do you ever feel that way, Oliver?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's interesting. And I think I do sometimes, but I also, and it's a great segue for the next thing that I want to ask you, which is, I guess there's two sides to this. For me, content is always audience driven. Mm-hmm. And, we always try and make it value add, right? It's not about Rounded. It's not about, software. It's about another way of engaging with our audience and with our community. That's number one. And like you, there's very little, unlike you for us, I set up these webinars, I pay for Zoom, there's my time cost, but there's very little production cost that goes into this kind of content that we create. You've got 3 full-time people, right? So as an astute businessman that we know that you are, there has to be some kind of a return on investment. So kind of on the one hand, for us, if we have people coming back every month and saying, we love your webinars, we'll keep doing it. It's not about, and again, it's about, I guess, establishing us as a subject matter expert in the freelance space. That's what I want with this, right? And an engagement, if I was then going to start investing in full-time people to help me with a podcast or a video or a marketing team like you've got, I'd probably be far stricter on what outcomes I want. So I'd love to sort of take that question back and say to you, what expectations of return on investment do you have? What do you use to measure success? And, like, how does it actually translate into something that benefits your business and grows your business?
Yeah, so you're totally right with that. So that's something I've done in the background without even knowing. So I'm very process driven type of guy. I'm an accountant for a reason. So when I set up my business was that I made sure my website was able to collect the stats. So I don't get emotionally driven on the stats. I do think it's just business and it's just marketing. I do look at numbers for that, but I don't go overly happy. I don't go overly negative about, like, criticism, or if the stats don't look good. We just try to improve it. If we see the numbers dipping, then we'll be like, what's going on? Well, let's fix it. I don't get too emotional about it. That was the point I was trying to make sure, that people get too emotional when it comes to the numbers, but don't get emotional. It's all business. So the way I looked at it was, I need to make sure that I've had everything set up properly. So our main key driver is for a client to book an appointment with us. So we have, initially it was like a 30-minute conversation, a 30-minute consultation, free consultation. Now it's gone down to 20 minutes. But basically we have that set up into our website. So when a client jumps onto our website, they can book in a appointment with us. So that's our key goal for all our leads. So what we've realized is that every time, what we also do in those, in that booking of appointment, we ask them, where did that come from? So did they come from YouTube, or did they come from Google search, or how did they come from referral? So we've realized that these videos that we're posting, they found us through those videos, and they've been clicking and booking an appointment, and that's our goal. Okay, I have more money in the budget to spend on paying you a better wage. So therefore, hey, come work full time with me. So I've hired them after picking up 2 or 3 more clients. Started picking more clients. So that's why I started bolting on more in the team, because the marketing was paying for itself. That's how I saw it. Once we picked up like about 20 clients, we realized that 20 times $3,000, it's about 60 grand. That's like enough for a full-time employee. But the way I think is that I don't go, I'll pick up 20 clients and then hire a full-time weeks constantly. So, and luckily we've been keeping those stats, and we've been figuring out that, yeah, we've been picking up 1 to 2 clients a month. And that's hence why I hired that full-time employee. And that's the way I think. So therefore we're losing out when we spend too much on the marketing team.
Yeah. Sorry, Davey, I just had to move because I think my internet connection's a little bit unstable. So I've moved a little bit closer to the router. So apologies if that was a little bit distracting. Guys, so yeah, again, just a shout out there for questions. We're coming up to, quarter 2. So we will be wrapping up soon. So if you do have any questions for Davey, please do feel free to ask either in the Zoom room or on Facebook. So, maybe as a way to wrap it up, Davey, what would be, for everybody listening, everybody that I can see in Zoom and on Facebook, they're likely to be freelancers. So what would, your sort of top tips be for anybody who was thinking about giving video a crack?
Yeah. So the first thing, which is what we've been saying a lot, is just do it. Just get it done. Just, you don't need expensive equipment. You don't need someone, to do the work for you. You don't need to hire anyone. You can do it yourself. The only reason why I hired was because I lacked the time. There was the time that I had was better spent in, speaking to clients, making money, because I was charging quite a high amount of high rate for my hours. I'd rather get someone that I could pay less to do the work. Another thing is it's going to be a lot of work. So make sure you have the time for it. But scheduling time, it's important to do marketing, because your runway of work will run out. So sometimes clients, I'm lucky, I got clients that come to me every year, but in your business, it may not be a client that would last for ongoing every year, and you'll get work from them. Sometimes there will be projects dried up and you won't have work. So you got to plan for that. So it's very important, even though you're busy, to focus on your marketing. Another thing about what I would have done differently if I'd done my videos is to focus on more of some topics to do with the trends. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of trends that happen in the social world. So for example, there's, the elections in America was a big thing. There was, tensions between China. There was COVID-19. You should focus your videos on specific trends, because that's what's going to get the eyeballs. Even though it's kind of not really related to your business model, but people will watch that video. And as a result of watching that video, whatever you provide in that video, the education after it, because of that topic. So for example, we did a federal budget one, which is part of the trend, because everyone wanted to know what type of tax saving they had. They would watch that video, and then they'll watch my other videos as well. That's more educational as well. So the federal budget one was a fun one. It was just my opinion on a few things. So we realized that we got a lot of eyeballs on that too. And there are different types of styles of videos. You don't have to focus on one style. And what I mean by that is you can do ones for inspiration. You can do educational ones. You can do how-to videos. There's also ones where you just joke around, where it's just bloopers. So you don't need to always do the same one. And just film everything. Like if I had the chance to do it and I had the money, I would film myself every day. And the reason being is because it helps me, when I go through it, it helps me understand what I'm doing that's wrong, and I can improve it. But 2, there's just so much value in what you do. Like, don't discount that you guys are freelancers or you guys are business owners. it's just the reason why you guys are freelancers and business owners is because you guys have a certain skill that people will pay money for. If you got that into a video and produced it out and presented it out to people for free, people are going to follow you and learn more from you. And it's not a lot. I have some clients say this because a lot of people talk about this to me, and they say to me, I'm scared they're going to steal my work or they're going to steal my secrets. Mate, there's YouTube out there. There's Google out there. They're going to find that information very simple. Like someone probably can be learning accounting and doing the tax law just from Google. Like it's possible. I know it is. It's just they can't practice and do that work, but they'll understand it. So there's information out there. They're going to figure it out anyway. You might as well be the one that's going to influence others, and you might as well be the one that educates people, because education is king. Like a lot of people say content is king. I truly believe it. So just go out there, post it, and get people to follow you, be inspiration for people, because if you're, that's going to put more eyeballs onto your business and your brand. And as a result, people that are going to be lazy, and they're going to realize that, oh my God, doing a tax return is so much work. I'd rather just pay someone. That's when they're going to speak to Davie, or they're going to speak to you when it comes to your business or your work. So just go out there and just provide videos. I can't stand it when people say to me they're too busy, or my competitor's going to steal all my skills. I'm like, they don't have time for that. Like, they really don't. You think it's just easy to just copy someone's tax return? No, you can't do that. Like, or someone's skill. They need to learn the skill, need to learn the processes. They also need to get the license to trade. It's not that easy. So don't be afraid of it. Yeah.
Just as maybe a final question, and as an aside, it doesn't look like we've got any questions coming through, guys. So if there is anything you want to ask Davie, I'll say again. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up pretty soon. But Davie, you use YouTube. We see you a lot on LinkedIn. What other platforms do you use, and do you have any views on the benefits, pros and cons of or differences of the different platforms for your video content?
Yeah, so it depends on your business and where your customers or your followers are. So for us, we focusing on businesses and small businesses, so they're more than likely going to be on YouTube to learn, and also on LinkedIn for businesses. There are businesses on Facebook. There are businesses on Instagram, and we are on there, but we don't put much of a focus on those social media platforms. And the reason being is because we've tested it and we tried it, and we don't think we get that much value for money when we spend a lot of time on it. So the most important thing is to spend your time on it and test it all out, and then figure out which one is best for you, suitable for your industry and your business, and then focus most of your energy on that. So we focus most of our energy. We realized early on that LinkedIn was the way to go. And then we focused a lot of energy on LinkedIn. Then we realized, oh my gosh, we're getting, after all the stats and all the numbers were going in, we realized YouTube was really big. We're getting loads of eyeballs, but we're also getting clients that already knew what they wanted. And when they booked the appointment from YouTube, they were very educated. They were studying and doing the research already. So they were pretty much ready to sign on board. So we started focusing on a lot of the energy on YouTube. We're still going to, the next 12 months, we should hopefully see our YouTube channel explode, hopefully.
Cool.
Right.
So as a last thing, let's give yourself a plug. What is your YouTube channel called, Davie?
It's Davie Mach.
Yeah, okay. So search Davie Mach.
Yep. I think we do have a question though.
We do, from Jackie. Yes. Thanks, Jackie. So Jackie's question is, thanks for the webinar. What sort of budget do you have per video? And I think it means now. And what did you start out with?
Yep. So I started out with $0. I just did everything myself. I did one video and it sucked. I didn't post that one at all. And then I decided to hire someone as an intern, and we spent, I believe it was $250 a week. And the contract that I had with him, which is my intern now, which is a full-timer now, but he was my intern at that point. I think he had to do two videos a week on it. And then we realized it was actually too hard to do 2 videos. So we did 1 video a week. So we spent about $250 a week on it. Hopefully that answers that question. And to be honest, we started increasing the budget as we went. Once we picked up a few more clients.
Yeah. So you kind of, it sort of grew organically.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Davie, thank you. I just want to say, your energy and enthusiasm for everything that you do just kind of jumps through the screen. Congratulations on the success of Box. And I have no idea that, no doubt that next year will be, another great year. And hopefully we've got some things in the plan. So